People who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story? I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow they are shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off for the time being. Housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel. But who knows after that? I haven't been laid off, but I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. This virus is causing so much damage, and there's never enough resources. My experience is pretty unique. In a nutshell, my wife and I live in New Zealand and had planned a 2-year working visa in Toronto. We were supposed to leave in April, so we had obviously already handed in our notices of resignation to our bosses. Long story short, Canada shut its borders, and my boss has already hired my replacement. As a side note, they shut the borders on my birthday. My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They are letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital, so my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on him. F&B manager at a large hotel. GM and ours gave me a list of employees to call and inform them that they would all be furloughed. It was the hardest thing I've had to do in my life. I had to stop halfway through the list just to sit in my office and cry. I had to encourage grown men and women that everything would work out and be okay when I had no idea myself if or when it would be. I went to work this morning, worked my normal 10 hours. Then I was laid off at the end of the day. I cried again on the way home. I worked at a specialty custom cake shop. My bosses are a brother and sister that own the business. They have been terrified of COVID-19 since it started in January and have been throwing around the idea of closing ever since then. When all the employees would panic and ask what would happen to us if you close, they would just say, "Don't worry about it. We will figure it out." Last week we got an email giving us 6 days notice that we will be closed for the following month with partial pay. By the time we reach the final day we will be open before the month of closing. They told us that we were actually being laid off. The partial pay for the month would be severance, and they are unsure of when they will open. They act like this is only temporary, but I know that they are refusing custom cake orders all the way until August. They also make no promises to be able to hire us back after they reopen later this year, since they may not be able to afford it. Construction. The whole construction site was laid off, and with the way things are going, the company owner thinks it'll be at least a year before they consider hiring me back. Started 3 months ago, and that's at least 50 other people affected. Just for this site, the company had several other sites that they laid off employees to. I'm just lucky I'm still living with my parents, and dad works his online for the general public, so he's nice and busy. Edit. Sign everyone and their dog is asking. I'm in Canada, Alberta. The site I was on was shut down by the owner. Beyond that, IDK, and thanks to the bunch of you that offered to help/hire. I was kinda surprised at that. I haven't lost my job, but my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be reevaluated every month. Clients keep cancelling or postponing projects, so I'm good this month, but could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce, so everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%. I just finished my training as a flight attendant for a major European airline. It's been a dream of mine, and I have been putting my love and energy into this training for the past months. I'm in Cancun right now, and it's bittersweet because it's absolutely beautiful here. But at the same time, this was my last training flight. I'm now a fully trained flight attendant, and yet no one knows when me and my other new colleagues will actually be getting our work contract, since the airline industry is suffering a lot right now. I think I will cry when landing back in Frankfurt tonight, because I don't know when will be my next flight. But I will put on a brave face and genuine smile for our passengers. At least I will do my best. Classical musician here. Every orchestra had to cancel concerts for the next 8 weeks. Unsure if any of the concerts will be rescheduled. Many orchestras are waiting to see if the act of God clause will be applied. If that is the case, musicians will not be paid. Most summer orchestras are still programmed, but there is high chance will be shut down as well. Edit. In the US, I'm a substitute teacher. If you are aware that most schools are closing, if they haven't already, then that should explain why all subs are now effectively unemployed. It's unlikely that schools will return during this situation. So yes, thousands of people are out of work just from that alone. Subs don't make salary, so any employee who is hourly or paid by day now needs to scramble. Edit. Because so many people are unsure whether they should file for unemployment or not, and are in a similar situation, being a substitute or a different employee that was hourly or a position that was cut due to our current circumstances. Please do. You absolutely can and should file for unemployment. It may take some time with the influx of applications, but this situation is what that government service is for. I extend my best wishes to everyone and their friends and families. I hope you all stay healthy and hold on to hope. Be smart and safe. I got a call congratulating me on getting a job 2 days before a hiring freeze went into place at the university I applied to. I never saw my contract, nor do I have any work. Edit. Thank you for the gold. I wish it had been on a cheerier post. We're in this together, and we'll get through it together, a step at a time. Look after one another, be considerate, and be kind to yourselves. Here's hoping this blows over sooner rather than later. Manager at a movie theater. I already saw it coming, so it wasn't that shocking to hear. We were only seeing about 200 people a weekday, down from our average of 900. Got called in by the GM, and we were told that we were closing indefinitely. It's looking like 6 to 12 weeks. I'm fortunate enough to have enough money saved that it isn't really an issue for me, but it really upset me knowing that a lot of the people who work in the building have no other source of income and scrape by with their paychecks. Fingers crossed it's 6 weeks. Maybe less. I was laid off indefinitely from 2 different hourly paying line cooking jobs on Monday, 50 hours combined /week. I helped clean out one of the restaurants Wednesday. We discarded a lot of stuff. I helped clean out all of the coolers and throw away a lot of prepped food that people didn't/couldn't take home. Employees were encouraged to take what they wanted: produce, dairy, meat, etc. The place is almost completely empty. It's surreal. My spouse was laid off indefinitely Wednesday. She manages a restaurant and is salaried W/benefits, 50 HRS/week. She was told that management will not be paid until the place reopens. Our family currently has no work or income. We have a young child. These are very uncertain times. Edit/update. We are healthy and staying happy. Lots of extra time to play with the kiddo. We have food, water and other saved resources. We are exploring an employment insurance and a couple of other options. Thanks for all of the love. This story could be the same for millions right now. Take care of your family and neighbors. Try to spend and shop local. We get past this together. Just lost it about an hour ago. I'm a restaurant manager and they called me and told me to turn in my keys by the end of the day. I'm in quarantine and can't. They are sending me a ups box so I can send in my keys, and told me to file for unemployment. Never expected this to happen to me. I'm in shock. IDK, what I'm going to do. Hey, thanks for the well wishes and advice. I live in NJ and I already filed last night. Everyone else in my shoes read these comments. On top of being really sick, it was a kick to the stomach, but we will get through it. My job as a barista was shut down for safety and because nobody is coming in. anyway. And my summer job, teaching kids how to swim at a sleepaway camp, is cancelled because the camp decided not to open. While I'm not in danger of losing my house or starving, I'm now unable to afford to continue going to college next semester. Edit. Somebody gave me gold. I don't actually know what that means, since I'm new to Reddit, but I hope whoever gave it, and the rest of y'all, are safe and healthy. I got laid off today. I worked in art studio. There were only a few of us, and my boss owns the business. As it's a small business, she just couldn't afford to keep me employed anymore. Business just stopped. Normally we would have 10 plus orders a day. Today we had 1. It sucks, but I understand completely, and she is the nicest boss. I live in the UK, and although the government are promising loans for small businesses, it's not helping / realistic. By that I mean the help is going to come too late. I really hope her business manages to get through the next few months. It's going to be a difficult few months for a lot of us. I'm lucky I've got some savings and still live at home, so it could be so much worse. I'm a server. I haven't worked since the 14th, but was officially laid off on the 18th. Where I am, temporary layoff is only 60 days. If we are not back by then, we lose our jobs permanently. It couldn't have come at a worse time, since we have new management, and there's been some murmurs about getting new staff. I was about to lose my apartment, unrelated, but my landlord phoned me up to let me know that he is no longer making me leave, and not to worry about April rent. He also gave me $150 to go buy groceries. He's a bro. I'm trying to get through to EI, which is all online right now, but the site keeps crashing, so I'm unable to make a claim right now. I'm ducked. I'm American, but live in Italy, northern Italy. Specifically, worked for the last 5 years for a tech startup that is heavily dependent on renting apartments and people traveling abroad in Europe for revenue. Though my job in the company was totally back-end, I was part of the first wave of employees and really liked my job. We were funded mostly by Silicon Valley investors. The company had already decided our jobs were to be automated slowly and painfully, and I was already starting to look for a new job. But the process just got sped up due to the crisis, and we all got the red slip on Monday. My husband is a taxi driver, and he hasn't worked in almost 3 weeks. We don't know when he'll be able to work again. I don't know when he'll even be able to get another job interview. We have a 3-month emergency fund that I've built up thankfully, and no CC debt, but I'm terrified for the future. We're both in our 30s. And got ducked in 2008 when we graduated into that recession. Now, I'm worried I'll never own a home and never have kids. I don't know how any of that will be possible. I feel hopeless. I'm going to fight my way out of this whichever way I can. But I'm honestly feeling defeated. And I'm scared we're going to get sick eventually. Or one of our family members here in Italy will get sick. Or one of my family members in the US will get sick. And I'll be unable to fly back to be there. We had an increase of around 4450 cases and 427 more deaths in Italy today. I feel like a real asshole for even worrying about my finances in the face of this tragedy here, but I'm terrified for what's next selfishly, and I have no idea how I'm going to pay for my student loan going forward. It's literally strangling me. Just duck. Guys, if you got laid off this week, I'm with you. I literally just feel like giving up. Thanks for reading this if you did. I needed to vent. Stay good guys. And stay healthy. From us in Italy to wherever you are in the world. Edit. There are so many comments in this thread that I'm getting even more nervous now. I'm devastated to see how many other people are where I'm at. E2. It may be hard times, but at least they're gilded hard times. Thanks for my first gold. And thanks to everyone who reached out with some kind words. You guys are the best. I worked at Hyatt. I was hired as an intern fresh out of college for a year. Most of Hyatt's interns were actually internationals from Europe. Hyatt paid us minimum wage, which is crazy once you learn how expensive New York City is. 2 months ago they recently hired a guy from the Netherlands, and just 2 weeks ago another girl also from the Netherlands have just moved to New York City for this internship and had moved to her apartment just last week. 2 days ago ours called us for a meeting and said effective Monday we were no longer employed by Hyatt. They refused to pay us any of our sick or personal days, which I had 7 days worth. For the interns that have recently moved to New York City, ours basically said you're on your own, not our problem, nothing we can do to help. Sol. Being laid off is one thing, but having the our director tell us that they were not intending in paying any of our sick days or personal days was a slap in the face and a massive dick move. I had intended to work till Saturday, which was my last scheduled day. Since they were not paying my sick days, I just called off my last 3 days, so I can at least get 3 sick days paid. Hyatt's saying is we care for people so they can be their best. They really showed their true colors, and I would never work for Hyatt or stay in any of their property for as long as I live. Edit. Didn't expect this to blow up. Just a few things to mention. I'm not trying to cause a riot of any sort. I'm getting paid my accrued vacation only, as some have mentioned. New York doesn't require 4 sick days to be paid, so I've come to terms with that. Also, this was just my experience. I'm not encouraging/discouraging the use of Hyatt. Don't let this post be the make it or break it on whether or not you stay at Hyatt. This was just me venting. For the people that have PM me asking if I'm okay, thanks, but I will be alright. Good night everyone. Washington state doesn't require PTO time to be paid out, so it's cheaper to fire employees and zero out their PTO time and then rehire them later than it is to keep us. I haven't been let go yet, but all 9 of the people that work for me, including one guy that had 12 weeks of PTO accrued and got nothing, have been let go. Our office in CA has been letting people take PTO for years, since it's a liability on the books. Since CA required unused PTO to be paid out, it doesn't seem like a big difference in the law, but it is in practice. Was working as hourly for a company which deals with the shows in Vegas. I read the news about all the shows stopping in Vegas. We were out of work Monday until who knows when. I was the only one with income in the family. I have a small business, but with everyone out of work, who knows what's gonna happen. I've been broke before, but this is different. Wife and I both work in the restaurant industry, both laid off unpaid indefinitely. She's a type 1, insulin dependent, diabetic, and we've got 2 young kids. We have no idea what we are going to do. Insulin and supplies were already killing us. The thought of not being able to get her insulin is horrifying. Edit. Thank you so much for the kind words and advice. We are applying for Medicaid and SNAP tomorrow, and it'll be looking into what the insulin and pump supply manufacturers can do to help. We expected to go to work the last couple days. They decided to close the doors, and I can't blame them. It just sucks. It just sucks that I can't even go out to find a job. A couple of incredible Redditors are going to Venmo us a few bucks to get by, and we are beyond thankful. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Stay home if you can. Thanks for watching. Don't leave before leaving a like to this video.